Hello, and welcome to this first introductory module for our Women's Classical Caucus workshop series, Reflective Pedagogy in the College Classroom. So my name is Dr. Amy Pistone, and I am one of your two facilitators here. And this is just going to be a very quick overview of what you can expect from this workshop series. So, first of all, goals and objectives. At the end of this workshop, you will be able to understand terminology used in higher education pedagogy discussions. We're going to go through a lot of the types of things people talk about when they talk about pedagogy. This will give you the basis to read up on a lot more scholarship, to do some further reading, investigation, things like that. You will also be able to engage in research and theory-based reflection about your own teaching. So we'll be doing a lot of kind of reflective exercises, things like that. Also, you will be able to reach out to a community of like-minded educators to continue these conversations. Part of this, while these modules will be asynchronous and it'll be something that you can complete on your own time scale and kind of whenever works best for you, we can share these. This was going to be kind of an ongoing pedagogy conversation and community. There are going to be opportunities for people to form connections and to have some conversations about these topics. And we hope that will be something that continues on into the future. And then finally, you'll be able to participate in more advanced or specialized conversations about pedagogy. We are trying to really lay a groundwork with these modules, and then we're going to build off of those with some more in-depth workshops that will be live, synchronous, and will be things that will ask us to get into some of the kind of nitty-gritty, harder questions once we have assumed that everyone is at least familiar with things like backward course design, learning outcomes, different types of assessment. So some of these things that we'll cover in these 6 modules. This will be the release schedule for the modules. So the first couple will all be coming out at the same time. Then we will be moving into once a week. Modules 5 and 6 will come out at the end of July. At that point, in theory, everyone will be fully versed in all of these kind of basics of pedagogy. And then we'll be looking at doing some live workshops for people who are interested that want to go a little bit deeper and kind of continue this work into August before the semesters start. What this workshop is, well, it is information with reflections and responses interspersed. The stuff that we're presenting to you is based on research. It has an emphasis on equity and social justice in the classroom. This is an invitation to a conversation. Ellen and I really resisted framing this as a course per se. We wanted the terminology to be really clear that this is about something that's very dynamic, that's back and forth. We are trying to facilitate some conversations, but this is not at all designed to be kind of a one-way flow of information. And we hope this will continue on well into the future, and it is open to all who are interested. We do ask that you please register just so we can keep track of numbers, and the Women's Classical Caucus has been very graceful about setting this whole thing up and making sure it's accessible to everyone. But we do want to keep track of how many people are participating. So do please register, but it is free and open to anyone who is interested. What this workshop is not. It's not a masterclass. It's not a definitive answer to pedagogy questions. Oftentimes, we're going to be opening up more questions than we will be answering in any of these different modules. That's part of how good teaching needs to be responsive. It needs to be constantly a kind of a work in progress. We're going to talk a lot about a growth mindset, right? Getting better, building on things as we go forward. We are going to steer far, far clear of questions of the one best way to teach languages. We are going to be talking about basic principles and guidelines. We are not going to be getting into the weeds on some of the very contentious issues around comprehensible input or grammar translation for ancient language courses. There are plenty of other venues to have those conversations, and this workshop is not representative of the experiences of all teachers. So as you can see, the two of us, this is module 0 here. This is Dr. Ellen Lee, and this is me. And we are both white women, and there are limits to what our personal experiences, there are limitations to what our own experiences in the classrooms look like. So we have read widely. We are going to try and bring other voices in, other people's experiences, materials put together by people who are coming from different identity backgrounds. But we cannot, there are limitations to what we can really understand sometimes. And so we are not saying that our experience is universal, but we will try and present as well-rounded a picture as we can of the different things that come into play in the classroom for people of all different identities and perspectives that are going to be in your classroom. So for Module 0, poke around, take a look at the website. Sign up for the Discord. When you registered, you should get a link for signing up for the Discord. If it's a new and unfamiliar medium, you can watch on the Module 0 page on our website. There's going to be a little tutorial of what a Discord is. It is essentially, if you've used a Slack server or anything else, it's sort of a chat interface. And it's a great option for asynchronous engagement. We can have discussions on, not everyone needs to be in the same place in the same time. Ellen and I have also put together brief introduction videos so you can get a little bit more information about who we are if you would like to know more about us. And then at your leisure, head on into Module 1, where we'll start really digging into some of these questions in more detail.